here on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network at Commodity Classic 2022 in New Orleans. I'm talking with Jacqueline Applegate. She is the president of Bayer for North America. Jackie, thank you so much for taking the time to visit with us.
Absolute pleasure, Dustin, to be here with you today.
So tell us about, first of all, about Bayer coming into this 2022 year. What are you excited about? What are you proud of? What are you showcasing here to these farmers?
Yeah, no, it's really wonderful to be here at Commodity Classic. And as always, at Bayer, innovation is the essential element of our DNA. So, today we're, out on the show floor and we'll be really talking about, what's going on in seed. And we have our Smart Stacks Pro for corn rootworm, which is really exciting. We'll be also showcasing our VT4 Pro, giving a little bit of insights to that technology, which will be coming in 2024 for above and below ground. And then, of course, we will be highlighting our short stature corn. And that's something where we will actually be getting out in the field this season. So that'll be exciting to share with the farmers and with the commodity groups and corn, of course, of what's going on there. We also have our Thrive On technology in cotton for piercing and sucking insects, which is really differential. We're in the Delta, and so this is cotton country. And then at the same time, clearly, we also have new modes of action in our CP chemical business. We'll be bringing some different fungicides and also some herbicides. So yeah, so it's pretty exciting. And then of course, from our digital enablement, we have our field view team here. And of course, one of the things we'll be talking about is how do we drive that value per acre to help the farmer be successful, and just not looking at things from an input perspective, but how do we look at combining our seeds, our CP, and our digital enablement with specificity of the farm to solve the farmer solutions that they have on their farm.
So the thing I'm getting out of this whole rundown you just gave me is innovation. It's new technology, it's new ways of doing things, it's across the board, whether it's corn, beans, cotton, technology, it's everything.
Absolutely. The one thing you have to think about is with technology, problems evolve. We're dealing with biological, systems. And so there's always that need for the evolution of our technology to drive, the yields to the next level. And at the same time, how do we do things more sustainably? So those are the elements that we really look at is, the technology, also the sustainability of the products that we're bringing, on, the ground.
And one thing I found was really interesting is something that's getting talked about a lot in Iowa, especially since the derecho, is the short stature corn. Mm-hmm. How much wind tolerance it has compared to the taller corns. What's the whole game plan there? What was the push behind getting that developed?
Yeah, short stature corn, definitely high winds. Weather is something, it's a variable that from season to season, we know those who've been in farming for years knows just there. And high winds are an issue. And so the enablement of the technology to develop a corn that has a shorter stand, so it has greater standability, avoids green snap, is definitely something that we thought from a genetic perspective that we could differentiate. It also, though, has very great uniqueness that it allows accessibility in season with normal equipment that the farmer has on farm. So I think that that's also a real opportunity because you can get in to spray a fungicide application with your normal spray equipment rather than doing an aerial application, for instance. You can also, if needed, get in season to put down another application of FERT. So there's a real uniqueness there. And I would say that also, if you think about from a sustainability, it has a greater root mass. So we're looking also at the elements with drought, also, carbon sequestration, because we have a carbon program. So we're kind of looking at the full gamut of what that's going to bring to the farmer. But we will continue, of course, to have tall corn and short corn in our portfolio, but it's definitely a technology that will be a differentiator and solve a major problem that we do see on farm.
Crop protection is also something that's huge all over the country, but especially in Iowa. Obviously, there's the challenge of keeping ahead of the mutation of what you're going after. They always seem to adapt. We have to adapt right along with them. But also, it seems to be you have to adapt with government policy more and more. I mean, what's the word that you're getting out both to the farmers and also to the regulators who say you have to understand what we need to combat these pests and diseases in the field?
Yeah, great question. The balance of what a farmer needs and what regulators believe is essential. I would say, that clearly after COP26 and some of the positions we've seen with the administration, very strong movement on the sustainability perspective. We also see that, the EPA is dealing with Endangered Species Act, which, made a declaration just some weeks ago that they will be finally addressing that. So there's definitely that balance of helping regulators understand how farming works, the seasonality of the business and the importance of the tools that farmers need. And, either if it's herbicide resistance management or insect resistance management or fungicide resistance management, you have to have the different modes of action. You have to be looking at mixtures to help from a crop protection chemical, with disease and weed management. And that means that we need multiple tools in the toolbox. So we have to educate the regulators to say we have to be mindful as we're looking through the registration process to ensure that we're not limiting the tools. Because as you well said, Dustin, biology is pretty smart and it evolves. So we have to make sure that we keep as many tools in the toolbox we can for the farmer to be successful. And to be able to help them drive the yields they need. Because in the end, it's about food security. It's about producing food that feeds the world every day.
To that end as well, what about educating the farmers to make sure they're acting responsibly with the chemicals and the things they're using, because of the fact that we have species that depend on a safe environment for themselves to exist?
Absolutely. And that's one of the key things that you'll see, and it's something that Bayer is highly focused on, is that, every season we have our training programs and we talk about each one of our products, our labels, and we educate them on the spray programs and ensuring, how, products should be safely applied, also managing the various species, because we at Bayer are also interested in biodiversity. So one of the key elements is always that they go through the training and then they can go back out and review before they come into the spray season with their application of that technology. So we have the tools out there that's just not on the label, but is also digitally enabled today, because farmers are quite savvy with their tools, so they can get out there and always be current, and that's what's key.
One thing you also alluded to was the carbon program, obviously working on, and that's something that the farmers are getting bombarded with information is on carbon sequestration. What kind of things does Bayer have available for farmers to really take advantage and really educate them on what they can be doing better for the environment?
Yeah. With our carbon program, first and foremost, our carbon program is about educating the farmer with importance of no-till, also cover crops. Also, the aspects of precision spraying, which is minimizing your application and spraying precisely. And so those type of elements are essential. Our program is pretty simple. We sign the farmer up, by the acre, and depending on the practices, which we go through the education of each one of those practices and why they should be doing that, and then they're just simply paid per that acre, which would be an additional income, on top of already the yields that they have. But our carbon program is very good. We also are working with our strategic retail partners to also get that message out there into the market.
All right, and so we talked about a lot of different things, a lot of innovation. We could talk forever on everything you guys have got going on. So I'm going to kind of put you on the spot and ask you, of all the things we've talked about, all the things you've got coming down the pipeline, what really excites you about give me something that really is just your top of mind. This is the thing I'm most excited about.
What I'm most excited about is the evolution of taking our inputs with digital enablement, which is the digital data. being able to utilize the data from a specificity of a farm, from that's moisture, soil content, to be able to allow a farmer to select the right hybrid seed that they're planting, and also with disease profiles and things to provide a solution that helps the farmer from seed to CP, and utilizing data in the end to drive a tailored solution specific for their farm. That is the direction that we're moving in agriculture. Farmers have large operations to manage. Lots of data is available, so it's utilizing data to make better decisions, to reduce the risk, to ensure that farmers are the most successful they can be in their operations.
All right, one last question. What kind of message do you want to give those farmers as they're gearing up for that 2022 growing season?
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, I'd like to say that at Bayer, we get up every day out of bed. We are passionate about the industry, and we're always thinking about how we can help you solve your problems. So what I would say is that I want you to know that myself and my entire organization and team are there for you, to work with you. We as a company have a passion to be fearless and first in agriculture, and we want to be your most trusted advisor. So what we would ask is when you need help, you reach out to Bayer. We're there for you, and we wish you a great 2022 season. We're hoping for great weather, and we'll be, no matter good or bad, we'll be there together, because Bayer is always there for the farmer. Thank you, Dustin.
Thank you, and that's Dr. Jacqueline Applegate here on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. All of our coverage brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association.